Page 113 in your blue notebook. Question example 2A and B we're going to do right now. Question 2A, they've given us a point A is at 3 and negative 4. So, yes, 3 negative 4. 3 negative 4, go over 3, down 4. This is our point A. They've also given us a slope, negative 1 over 2. It's very easy to find another point. We just have to apply the slope. So the rise can be one of two things. Sorry, the slope, you can go one of two ways. You can go down 1 and over 2 for another point on this line, or we can do the reverse, up 1 and back 2. Either way, see if I can do it. That's about right. Either way, I'm on the exact same line. Okay? So I've graphed my line. I know this one's a little thick. That was what 2A asked. They just want us to graph it. Second way says to write the equation in standard form for the line. Begin with the slope point form. So we were doing our slope point form, in blue. Y equals y subtract y1, x subtract x1. What that means is we need our slope, which we're given above, negative 1 over 2, and we need that point A, 3, and negative 4. So I'm going to write it on the side so it's easy to put in. Slope is actually equal to m. So I'm just going to write m is equal to negative 1 over 2. And our point A was at 3 and 4. Since that's our only point, that has to be our x1 and our y1. I now have enough information to plug into this form that I can convert it to any other form I want. So, for instance, our y1 is 4. So y subtract 4 is equal to our m is 1 over 2. So we plug that in for the m, and we subtract our x1, which is 3. So as you can see, I'm not sure I get the brackets around this. This is very similar to what we had before. Sorry, I made a quick mistake. This is negative 4. So because that's negative 4, that's going to make this positive 4 inside the brackets. Thanks for pointing that out, guys. Okay? So now we've plugged in enough information where we only have one x and one y. I can convert this to any form I want now. Okay? I had a point, I had a slope. I can turn this into slope y-intercept form. I can turn it into standard form. I'm already in point slope form. So the question says to begin with point slope form and turn it into a standard equation. That means I'm going to have to distribute. So I have y plus 4 is equal to negative 1 over half x. I need to multiply negative 1 over half times negative 3. So that's fractions. Times negative 3. Well, negative 3 as a fraction is over 1. This is 3 over 2. Plus 3 over 2. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you guys a step in between. I'm actually going to do the slope y-intercept form just so you have an idea of what's going on. I'm going to move this 4 to the other side of the equation. So this becomes y equals negative 1 half x plus 3 over 2 minus 4. Okay? So I can actually reduce these two terms here, our two constant terms. I'm going to turn the 4 into a fraction. Or I could have turned the 3 over 2 into a decimal number, whatever you guys want to work with, okay? I can turn the 4 into a fraction, becomes 8 over 2. So this becomes negative 5 over 2. Y equals negative 1/2 x minus 5 over 2. Okay? We're done with that there. Now to turn this into standard form, it's pretty straightforward. All I have to do, so actually let's show that this is in that other form. Okay, I think I did that in green. Y equals mx plus b. We're in this form right now. It's only one more step to get it into standard form. To get to standard form, all I have to do is move my y to the other side of the equation. So when I move this y to the other side of the equation, it becomes 0 is equal to negative 1 over 2x minus 5 over 2 minus y. Now normally we don't write standard form in that way. We always put our x first, then our y, then our constant. So we'll just rearrange the last step. 0 is equal to negative 1 over 2x minus y minus 5 over 2. Now in our standard form, technically we're in standard form, but I have some fractions right now, okay? It's not the nicest to look at. It helps if we put it into our whole numbers, it looks a little nicer. So what I actually can do to turn these into whole numbers is I can multiply this entire equation by a term. That's going to turn everything into whole numbers. Does anyone know what it will be? 2. If I multiply every term here by 2, and I multiply this side by 2, does that change anything on the other side? No. 2 times 0 is still going to be 0, so we're still going to be in standard form because we're set equal to 0. But when I multiply these terms by 2, this will become negative 1x, or just negative x. This will become negative 2y, and this will become negative 5. So finally, our standard form. So let's clarify. This could be our standard form. This could be our standard form. And I'm going to make an even nicer one. I don't really like looking at negatives. How can I get rid of all those negatives? Divide by negative 1, multiply by negative 1. It's still, like we said before, not going to change anything on this side. So I flip all of my terms. I'm still in standard form. Just looks nicer now. You can manipulate standard form in so many different ways because we have a 0 on the other side of the equation. Okay? Multiplying, dividing. It will never change the 0. It'll change all kinds of numbers on the standard side of the equation, though. Hold on.